gorgeous. Great to see you. Really, it's lovely to see you. And it's great to be inside. I'm so grateful I get to be inside on a day when the Met Office says that it's 5.7 degrees Celsius, right, outside. Feels like zero, which means it feels like freezing. It's not freezing, there's no ice, but there's a cold wind. It's coming from the south. So I'm really grateful to be inside with the lights on because it's so dark. To be with you, right? Woohoo, you! Hi, Linda. Hi, Sherry. It's been ages. Bye. It's great to see you. Woohoo! We're here together. Me in the warm. You probably in the warm too, where you are, hopefully. So we're doing little rocks today. Little rocks, because we're talking about little things that you don't necessarily see, and when you do see them, you think, I just need to not look, right? Hi, Nora. Good morning. I can see beautiful faces. It's great to see you. Andrea, good morning. Amy, woo! We're all here. And while you're all coming on, let's just enjoy this little, what is it? It's an icosahedron, little amethyst, thing, right? And it's kind of groovy because depending on how you turn it, the shapes change, and obviously it's made of all these triangles, and no, I don't know how many. I could probably work it out, but I don't feel like counting right now. I just enjoy it as a little shaped rock. All right, raining all day where you are too. Dark, light, cold, warm, whatever it is, we've got what we've got, and it's perfect. Perfection has a strange definition in my mind. Look, you can actually see through this one too a bit. Morning, Julian. I can see your little face up there. It's great to have you on deck. It's lovely to have the captain and number one on deck. They call me the Admiral. It's all about the space camels, which interfere with the internet, and somehow we all ended up on the Enterprise. It's Mr. L's fault. Okay. Well, he's sitting in the other room being my sharing genius, so I'm very grateful to have a Mr. L in my life. Time for something else. This, right? Quartz, clearly. And it's got those lovely horizontal markings, which some people say means it's a record keeper. Some people say it means it's Lemurian. Honestly, I just go a little bit glassy-eyed and a little bit, oh, please. At all of these different labels, it is quartz. It is beautiful. Do we need to categorize it further? Sorry, forgive me for getting on my soapbox. Sonia, Porewa, it is gorgeous to see you both. Welcome, welcome. So we're just enjoying this little crystal. And the nice thing that I really like about it is that it's really pretty much singing quartz. Normally, singing quartz, they're the little thin crystals and they sort of ting. But this one, quite musical, as crystals go. So, gorgeous to have you all jumping on and playing with us. Shannon, good morning. Beautiful. Alejandra, woo! Emily, good morning. We're all together. And this is our last little friend today. Isn't it beautiful? This is fluorite. I could hardly see what this was. I thought when I pulled it off the shelf, because it said, hello, I'm coming on today, that it was amethyst. But no, it's a little piece of tumbled fluorite. And it's got these beautiful purple bands in the middle of pale green. It's just gorgeous. So there it is. Those are our little treasures today. And actually, I really am talking about little treasures. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Liv. Whoa! What a team. Great to be together. So I wanted to talk about the things that, and this is how I relate to it in my life, that when I'm paying attention and I'm noticing who I want to be and I'm doing the thing, being the self that I want to be as much as I can by paying attention and choosing, that there's these little thoughts that just fly into my head and I bat them away. And it comes back and I bat it away. And I don't mean it comes back every 10 seconds, although sometimes it does. But it's just this persistent thing. And actually the thing that I am thinking about, woohoo! You're in time, Liv. I'd never say you're on time or late. Time is an illusion. And if you catch me live, it's fabulous. And if you don't, it's perfect too. I'm just delighted that you share yourself with me, right? So in my life, this thing of things that butt in and I just, don't want to pay attention. It's bizarre. But this is a really good example. So being in my kitchen, which I love, okay, there's a long story about how I got a really, really nice kitchen. I created it. It didn't just happen by accident. And granite bench tops. Abigail, good morning. It's beautiful. It was a decent investment, which was enabled by leveraging something, and then, husband made redundant and everything changed. And that was fine. John, good morning. And so beautiful kitchen, really love it. I also have a really nice set of knives. If you cook, and I'm not a chef, but I'm a good cook. If you cook, if you chop things up, it is really worth investing in a good set of knives. And I invested in a good set of knives a long time ago. I use them every day. They are my friends, right? And so I would be in the kitchen doing my thing, and this random, not random at all, thought come into my head. I'd usually be chopping something when this used to happen, and I would just think of taking that knife and smashing it, literally, try and break it, thrashing it onto the edge of the granite bench. Now, what's that going to do? Really ruin the knife that I love to use, and really ruin the granite bench. I'd imagine myself breaking things, or I'd imagine myself, this was crazy, shutting a door, right? And if I happened to have my fingers on top of the door, because, there would just be this thought that would fly straight into my head about somehow jamming my fingers between where it was shutting and the top of the door. It's like, why do I always think these crazy thoughts about really hurting myself or really damaging something that I really like? What the feck, And this is just ongoing for a long time. I understand now that those thoughts were my body, which was addicted to fear and stress and difficulty and, oh no, actually trying to create that heightened emotion because that was what it wanted. I really understood that. It was also an expression of my brain being very incoherent, which I did not understand, and I had this actually sort of rumbling, moderate level anxiety that I never even recognised, right? It was invisible to me. It was just normal. It was who I was. I thought feeling like that was just normal. And it wasn't, but I didn't realise until I started doing this work with Joe, making myself more coherent and beginning slowly to create who I wanted to be. I was like, oh my God, I haven't been thinking like that recently. I don't have those intrusive things come in and say, come on, go crazy, hurt yourself so you can scream about it. And then you have to heal yourself and you'll be in pain for months. Was really what this program that I wasn't even aware of was actually trying to do. It was like, you need to suffer some more. Okay, feeling overwhelming because it felt like every negative thought. Oh, yes, yeah. And so that's your incoherence. Oh, totally, yeah. I tell you, Linda, I've had Christians tell me amazing things. I was very Christian once, let's just be honest about that. I've been told because I sang high descants that I was doing it out of a spirit of pride. It was just complete bullshit in those days. So yeah, you're right. They would say, oh, it's demons. No, it's my incoherent brain. That's the only thing I'll say about that. Jen, it's great to see you, honey. It's amazing the framework that we put on things. And look, I have to say this, if you have a belief and a reality about demons and angels and all of those things, please don't think that I'm mocking you. This is what's true for me, right? That belief system fell apart for me. And that's a long story. I'm not going to tell it. And it was part of my growth and part of my evolution. What happened was the labels exploded, fell away. The truth of this divinity remained and has always led me one way and another, by the nose, to what I next needed to do. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, there's divine. Whatever label you put on it, go crazy, whatever works for you. I really don't give a wet slap, because for me the labels are irrelevant. Enough said. So that was my incoherent brain seeking more of what it was addicted to. And this is something I learned from Joe recently, reading You Are the Placebo. Joe Dispenza, right, in case anyone doesn't know who I'm talking about. My inspiration. That when you have, like, you have an experience, right, and you think about it, and we talked about it yesterday, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right, and the first bar of chocolate he ever had, and the first bite of the first bar of chocolate, and that, wow, and how you just would replay that and have amazing, amazing thoughts about it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in your brain. Now, where the hell was I going with this? Oh, yes. That thought becomes a mood, right? It becomes a mood. It's like, oh, I'm feeling so excited about this first bite of chocolate I ever had. It was amazing. It was awesome. It was last week and I'm still savouring. It was awesome. It was amazing. And you're in a good mood. And if you keep that mood going, then it becomes kind of an attitude. It's a good attitude, right? And if you keep it going and going and going, morning, Maria, then your body becomes chemically adjusted to that state of being, of feeling so excited about your first bite of chocolate. Now, the same thing happens if you are just used to feeling frustrated and sad and rejected and everything else because you think differently. It really hurts, and your body and your brain becomes literally, chemically, and of course, there's the hardware in here, conditioned to that. And this is the thing that I was reading in Joe's book about how it is that we have an experience, and then we have a thought and a feeling, and then we have a belief, and we have an attitude, we have a belief, and we have a perception. He explains all of the detail of what that actually means. But an attitude is just what I said. Oh my God, I had this thing and I'm feeling really bad because something awful happened 3 days ago, and I'm still feeling shitty about it. Remember, the refractory period lasts for 90 seconds. But, or 120 seconds, if it keeps going, we're keeping it going because there's more associated neural nets firing and the chemistry's all there and it just keeps happening. So if you have that happen and you keep that thing going, or it keeps going, whatever, for whatever reason it continues, then it becomes, it's semi-permanent. This attitude becomes a belief. And the penny that dropped was a belief is an attitude that I have become emotionally, chemically addicted to. In other words, I've gotten so used to it that it's just normal for me now. And then I start to perceive the entire world that way. So the entire world is going to reject me if I dare to think for myself. Or I'm always going to fail, or whatever it is. And what I did, it was just, a little light bulb. So I'm actually now chemically conditioned to the way that I've been thinking and feeling, which of course is why it's, challenging to get out of it, right? What the hell was I talking about today? Small things that surface and they're unwelcome when they come up. And small crystals reminded me. So these things surface out of our subconscious. And they surface either because we've been stuffing them down because they're too painful and we don't know how to deal with them. Hello, that's been me very much. So I know what this is like. Not beating you up if you're there. Because it happens. Many of us, not most of us, have experiences that is too much to deal with, and we don't have the equipment, we don't have the tools, we don't have things that actually work to diffuse them. Something else I heard Joe explaining just yesterday. When the child, remember we spoke about brainwaves yesterday, when the child from like 0 to 2 is in delta, asleep with their eyes open, or in theta from about 2 to age 7, there's no analytical mind at all. The brainwaves are slow. The child is just in this pretty much timeless experience of their own being. And so whatever comes into their experience is just absorbed. There are no filters. There is nothing for the child to say this is good or bad. It's a unity of their experience. And so if the child is abused or just simply told, oh, you're stupid or you're ugly or whatever it is, or, insert your words here, then that goes into what's called the implicit memory system, which is the memories that you don't even realise you have, the beliefs you don't know are there, the assumptions you make about life that you don't even know you're assuming. And you're grown up, you're an adult, but that thing is still sitting there and you're trying to respond to your life as a grown up, but actually your body, which is the mind for you, hi Jasmine, is still responding as that child. And there's this huge gap between, hang on, why am I losing the plot here? Why is this so painful? Why can't I get out of this? And your body which is saying, wah! Or whatever it is. And you can't think your way out of that. You got to actually turn your analytical mind off and get into your own operating system, which means slowing down your brain waves, the same place where the shit went in, so that you can let it go out. And then there's the whole wonderful technique that I use practically every day of literally being able to shift that stuck, painful chemical energy that's in your body from all those experiences that you couldn't process, literally moving it out of your body. It's awesome being able to do that, let me tell you, when it comes up, because stuff does. So these are the unwelcome things that keep poking at us, either because we've managed to squash them down, because they were so painful, we want to get on with our lives, but still this, if you want to talk about the inner child or the wounded child, which I don't like that. It's like, oh, I'm this wounded thing. Great, make that your identity. Wonderful. Really? No. It's like, it's the implicit memory system. It's all the things that went straight in. And you respond as the child because that's, that's the mind that's responding. When that thing that's reacting, when that reaction comes up, it's from that place, it's from that time. You're still stuck there. So the thing is, having explained all that when this stuff is up and it's, it's poking and it's roaring, it's screaming at you, is first of all to realise that don't try to think your way out of it. That's not going to work. And you've probably done the therapy, done the analysis, you've analysed it to death. When you're analysing, you're in beta brain waves. Beta brain waves are not going to touch theta and delta. Doesn't happen. You've got to go somewhere different. You've got to turn all that off. And there's different processes to actually get into your autonomic nervous system where those implicit, non-declarative memories that you can't even declare because you can't remember, and the energy and the emotion that's stuck, and there are responses to, I'll respond to you properly later, Abigail, or I'll just stick my foot in my mouth. You're not imagining it. You're totally not imagining it, honey. I'll come back to you properly. No, it's real. It's absolutely real. But the thing that was so hard for me to understand was that I did have control. I did have the ability to learn to control that very painful response. So, yeah, I'll write back. Or maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. No, I absolutely know you're not wallowing in your history, because I recognise how powerfully you are choosing to move out of it. And we all are, right? One way or another, we're all choosing. So to realise that you can't think your way out of it, you have to viscerally change what's going on in your body until there's a signal emotionally that's more powerful than all that other emotional stuff. And you think, oh, feck, how do I do that? I was abused for 4 years, or how long it was. This is, just learn from Dr. Joe. Honestly, I don't know of a better way to do it. But what I wanted to say is, when the stuff comes up, to recognise that it's actually a signpost. It's actually, for some of us, it's actually a signpost of progress, because you think, I'm getting positive and I'm doing all this great stuff and I'm starting to feel like who I'm deciding to be, and then kapow, it's like the shit just hits you and it's the fan. It's like, what? Why is all this crap here? And it's actually because you've moved, you've I'm going to use the word up. I don't really like that. You've elevated your consciousness enough that this thing is now saying, I'm the peg, I'm the rope that's still holding this tent up. You've got to pull this out now. You've got to deal with this. You've got to change this, right? And it's there because it's saying, hey, this is the thing to work with. But you've got to find a new way to work with it, because if you've done it to death, you've already done everything you can do with your conscious mind. You have to get into the autonomic nervous system. And by the way, I have not gone to one of Dr. Joe's workshops. I can't afford that. I've done the work on my own. I've read books. I've practiced and gotten really familiar with the meditations that work for me. And, if that's out of reach, because some of you, I know it is, talk to me. There are choices. I don't want anybody locked out of this just for the sake of a few fecking dollars, right? That pisses me off. And I know that's not what Joe's about either. There are ways into this work that cost very, very little. But also, there's a level of commitment that each one of us has to make, and it's different for each of us. So, I just want to say, if the shit is coming up, don't freak out. Just look for, sense for, feel for, listen in your heart, in your soul, in your gut. Your gut can lead you astray when you're really, really scared and out of place, because the gut is the survival brain, right? Robert! Rudy, it's great to see you, honey. The new way's going to come. When there is this deep desire that will not quit, because it takes determination to overcome ourselves, the universe is going to meet you exactly where you really truly are. And sometimes I think it takes a long time and a lot of pressure for us to go, oh my God, this is here. I haven't got through this brick wall 500 times. I've got to start looking for a different way to get through it. It's funny how, attached we are to our old selves. Like, you really have to think, oh, this has to stop. This has to stop. And also, I'm at the end of everything I know how to do. And there is a certain magic when you get to the end of everything you know how to do and you just don't quit. But you have to stop doing everything you know how to do. So, I think we'll be picking up on this again tomorrow. Nefertiti, it's great to see you just fast enough to say hi. Oh, right, Hoopla, yes, thank you. Anyone else who's got any hot tips about get access to Joe's goodies, put them in here. We will pick this up tomorrow. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I love this conversation. This is why I'm here. Big love. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.